Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to every one of you. I think you have your lunch. So why am I coming live right now? Because during the evening time my network is so bad and so pathetic that I cannot process. So like yesterday also, even if you have seen that, I'm trying to reach out to everyone but it's not possible, so therefore I cancelled it. So cutting short, I wanted to say, what I wanted to say was I'm going to be speaking about the plight of the religious minorities in the Islamic countries in context of Northeast and CAA. So before I start, this topic is really sensitive and really important for all of us to consider. So I would request every one of you, if you're watching this, please share it such that it reaches to many people and we all get to learn and grow together. So after the CAB, the bill was introduced, from its journey of transition to CAA in Northeast and the entire part of the country, we have seen that so much protests have taken place from 2019 till now. But one thing to notice is that the protests happening in Northeast and the protests happening in rest parts of the country is different. It's different in a sense, like Northeast have reasons over protesting. The reasons are like overpopulation. Like Northeast has been suffering from overpopulation, job scarcity, land scarcity, resource scarcity, and these are the things which motivates the protesters to go against such an act. So no matter what sort of humanitarian crisis one goes through in their own country or in the Islamic countries, it's not the concern of the protester. So we are already suffering from influx, we are already suffering from resource scarcity, so we don't want any outsiders. We're not indigenous to the land. Whereas in the rest of the parts of the country, the thing is a little bit different in a sense. Some religious groups are not included in that act. The moment those groups are included in the act, the protest over the country is over. But it's not the case of Northeast, because even if these religious groups are added to it, the protest will be still going on because it's against the interest of the people protesting in Northeast. So now during these protests, we saw many people lost their lives while protesting in the roads. People burned public properties. I'm speaking of Northeast. And then we saw curfews in different states. Like in Meghalaya, internet was also shut down. Curfews happened. And amongst all of these, the price was paid by the non-tribals in Meghalaya. What happened was that they were targeted as, they were labeled as outsiders. And this is quite evident from the posters, the banners which were put up in places in front of offices, in front of your academic buildings, so it was clear, the message was clear that we don't want you guys are outsiders. But then the non-tribals were targeted as outsiders. They were killed brutally, the case of Nikhil Day and so many on. Then we got to see that illegal check gates have been set up to check influxes. And keeping everything that I've mentioned in mind, you'll get a notion, which I already said, that the Northeast doesn't want any sort of influx, be it from any part of the country, until unless they're indigenous to the land. So doesn't matter what sort of humanitarian crisis one goes through, it's none of their concern. So ironically, one thing is there, that CAA does not affect majority of the northeastern states directly. Plus, if you see, there has been laws provided in the constitution to safeguard the rights of the people staying in northeastern states. For example, land rights you take in, and job rights, reservation rights, land rights, autonomous councils, and the few systems like ILP have been established to check the influxes of people coming from other parts of the country to their states. But still, there is a protest against CAA in Northeast. Is it fair or not fair? I'll leave that to you. Please write down in the comment section. Now, I would like to draw your attention to one of the states of Northeast called Mizoram. So, Why am I drawing your attention to the state? Because it's in quite a topic right these days, because you'll get to know soon. So in Mizoram, what happened in 1997, there was a community, Brus and Riangs. They were residing in Mizoram. So what happened at that time, there were questions regarding their voting rights in the state. So while there were questions about their voting rights in the state, this thing was completely against the interest of the pressure groups in Mizoram. They didn't want them to get the voting rights, as they believed that the Brus or Riangs, they're not indigenous to that land, so they must not have that voting right. And by that time, what happened, one Mizo forest guard, I guess, he got killed, and it was believed, it's not proven, it was believed that he was killed by some extremist from belonging from the BRU military organizations. So obviously, so there has to be some violence because of that. So an ethnic violence took place, a community clash took place. As a result, what happened? The Brus and Riangs have to leave their lands, and they have to reside in refugee camps. So from 1997, from in the upcoming years, there has been many efforts made by the government itself to make sure that they can go back to Mizoram and settle there, but it was not possible because they were so scared. Like, people were saying that we will rather choose to die hungry than to go back. So this was not possible until recently. In January 2020, the government the state government, along with the central government, the state government of Mizoram and Tripura, they decided that let us give them a permanent solution. And the solution was that they were decided to be rehabilitalized in Tripura. So again, because of this process, there has been so many protests in the states of Tripura. But my point is simple, that in Mizoram, what happened, they once chased a community, questioning upon the voting rights and the killing of that guy. Now what happened, we all know what is happening in Myanmar. In Myanmar, the military have taken over the government. They are torturing their citizens, they are brutally beating up them. It's really inhuman. It's really inhuman when it's happening with anyone in the country, irrespective of the gender, caste, creed, race. So it's really inhuman. So what happened was, the Myanmaris, they fled from their lands and took refuge in Mizoram. So now one of the MPs of Rajya Sabha in Mizoram, I guess, he said that they are brothers and that we cannot send them back. We need to take care of them, we need to provide them shelter and all. So my question is that it's completely human. It's completely human to help a fellow human being when in crisis. But my question is, when the Hindu community, Sikh community or Buddhist community in our country are trying to help their fellow brothers in Islamic countries who have been massacred from the time of 47 till now, they're trying to help them. Why do people protest against them? Why do people don't want protest against such things? That's my question. Like, if you're trying to help the Myanmaris, the entire country is not coming down to the streets and protesting that no, we are already suffering from overpopulation, we are suffering from job scarcity, or we are suffering from land scarcity, so no, we won't welcome refugees from Myanmar. No one is doing that. But when Hindus are bothered about giving refuge or some sort of help to the Hindus in the Islamic countries, people come down to the street. They say, no, we cannot take them, we are already filled with population and all this and this stuff. So this is my question to every one of you. Is this right thing to do or wrong thing to do? See, welcoming community members when they are your brothers with open hands, that time no one comes with an excuse of overpopulation or something like that. And when other communities tries to help their brothers, then excuses come of different things. So I won't say excuse. This is actually a problem. The country is suffering from overpopulation and all. But I leave that to you. The question is the bias. If your brother's in trouble, you try to help them. But if you see your neighbor's brothers in trouble, you're completely closing down the gates. And also, like, I have another question. Speaking of the religious minorities in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, is it something unlawful for them to look up to India for help? Or is it something they have a right in the constitution? Because we all know why partition happened. It was happened on the basis of religion. So that's a question to all of you. I hope you answer it. Actually, these questions why I'm putting forward to you, because amongst this question we'll receive many answers, many different types of view, and amongst this view we'll all get to learn. And then another thing, like a short message I want to give to every one of you, like India is a diverse country, very diverse in terms of language, in terms of religion, in terms of other things. So if one community wants to help its fellow brothers who are suffering in other places, is it bad? And if one community is protesting to stop people from helping their brothers from other country, is it bad or good? That's it. These are the questions I wanted to ask you all. I hope I could place the question in a better manner, but if these questions are not cleared, I'm ready to do it again. So bye.